Hey, are you a real estate agent that's looking for what's next in 2024? How are you going to double down on who's selling? What business plan can you put in place to make sure that you hit your transactions goals and that you level up and do better than you did in 2023? If you're looking for that, you've found the place. Make sure you tune in and let's go. What's going on, everybody? How are you guys doing on this Monday? As we sit, it is December 4th, and it is that time that we start thinking and planning for 2024. It is always a great idea to be thinking about not only your business from an annual basis, quarterly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, down to that daily basis. But what I want to do today is we are going to be taking a look at what is it that we are going to do to capitalize on this opportunity that is out in front of us in 2024. We were just talking this morning in our team huddle that we have here at Zoodealio that there's a lot of opportunity out there right now because rates have some downward pressure. And that's an opportunity for us to, kind of really seize this moment. There's some of us that have been holding some listings that are not necessarily moving. And there's also a lot of sellers that we could potentially seize the opportunity by bringing them a cash offer, the sell now, move later, the cash plus, a really compelling value proposition to make sure that we inspire that transaction to get them into action now. That way they get their home sold, primed, ready, capitalize on the market, find that buyer, and then of course can simultaneously find the house that they are moving into. All right, well, before we dive in, looks like we still got a couple people rolling in here based on our numbers. I want to remind everybody, whether you are watching this live on the stream on Facebook or you're watching this as a recording, do me a favor. Make sure that when on Zoodealio YouTube channel that you subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way, every time that a new video gets posted, you're notified and you're always staying in the know. The thing I want to comment on that real quick, right, is being able to leverage companies like Zoodealio, where we are bringing you data, insights, and things that you can take in as information, leverage that timepiece to be able to take that data, put it back out to the marketplace as you being the thought leader behind it, and obviously inspiring some transactions and just kind of making it happen, right? And being that digital mayor inside your particular space. As we sit on December 4th, 2023, it's time for us to start really thinking about what does that 2024 look like? What are those puzzle pieces that we need to put into place? As we all know, with the buyer commission lawsuits that are at hand, there is so much tech that continues to come in. I was just reading a report where CoStar is continuing to pour more money, and there actually looks like that they're going to be spending north of $500 million on advertising and really trying to just kind of come in and dominate this space with Homes.com. They're really trying to start to rival, or they're certainly going to be spending the ad budget of attempting to rival Zillow. Well, the good news is for us is that's going to go in and potentially shake up, costs for leads and, all of those types of opportunities. But the other thing I really want to just kind of point out for us is this brings an awareness for us to be able to bring some solutions and data and insights to your clients. So if you're not a Zoodealio member, or you are a Zoodealio member, that's exactly the goal of Blast, is where it's going to allow that homeowner to claim their particular house, and then they can monitor the trends, insights, selling options, all in one simple place, and the system constantly follows up with them, nurtures them, and keeps you and that value proposition at the top of the mind, right? So what we're going to be going through today, and our agenda focus is who is going to be selling in 2024, right? How do we locate those sellers? What are the smart plans on all of that? And again, I'm going to show you guys some really cool stuff today that you can get tap into Zoodealio and a bunch of research that was done by Kayla. She put together an awesome book that I'm going to show you guys here in just a second. And some other marketing strategies that we also put together to make sure that you're capitalizing on these markets of the moment and ultimately being able to always scale up your message. That's the importance of what we're really after is making sure that we are scaling up that message. Then we're going to wrap it up with what is a success formula, right? What is something that is very dependable? So what I'm about to bring to you is, in my opinion, is actually a little bit on the conservative side, but it's also from the National Association of Realtors, and it's pretty much a rolling data thing, meaning that it has a serious concrete amount of time that is specified this particular formula, right? And so it's a success leaves clues kind of thing, and from there it really becomes a very, very simple process to where we want to focus on our database and constantly grow that, and then we lead with the marketing, especially if you have Blast or a CRM that's capturing engagements. You're scaling out your message, then you're focusing on your time by picking up the phone and sending one-off messages to people that are engaging with your content, and as they have shown interest, that they're more likely to transact based on their behaviors. So it's a lot of things like that that I want to take you guys through, and we will get rocking. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is Kayla has created a book that we're actually getting ready to do some circulating on who's selling in 2024 and what are those targeting strategies to be able to find them. Right, so I went ahead and did you guys a solid. If you are a Zoodealio member, this QR code is right here for you. You can scan that. It will pull you right in. So do me a favor, scan that code. If you are not a Zoodealio member, you're going to want to scan that QR code in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and that will be able to pull you up right there on that, so you guys can see that. Hey, if you're finding value in this information, make sure that you subscribe and ring that notification bell, as we are constantly bringing things to you week after week. And to stay on the up and up, you're going to want to do just that. But as always, thank you so much for checking us out. Again, ring that notification bell and click on subscribe. So let's get back on track here. Now, the importance of knowing who's selling in today's market. I mean, the whole goal of this, guys, is kind of like giving a cheat code to your business. So one of the things I want to talk about is specific niches, right? So one of the things in here that's just, to me, super compelling, there's 5 different groups that we outlined inside that group, or that was outlined in that book, that you're going to want to be able to take advantage of. But these, to me, are also kind of like the cornerstone pieces, and a lot of those are evergreen lead sources inside of there. With that said, one of the things I want everybody to be looking into is being able to connect to some likely movers on top of that, right? So let me explain to you what that is. And a company I'll acknowledge here that I know there's no affiliation here, but just as an example, is a company called Revaluate, where you can actually take the data list, you can give that data to them, and they've created an algorithm that will actually monitor the behaviors of that particular list that you gave them, and they'll trigger back if they're likely sellers, likely buyers, and it's a list that you gave back to them. So the reason why I'm giving you this identification of boomers, let's say that you wanted to focus on, the west side of your city, east side of your city, which is a rather robust area, right? Probably too much for you to constantly email out, to constantly try to send text messages out. Well, if you're able to get that particular data and you would like, you can absolutely upload that company to that list to Revaluate, right? This is a solution that we're working to bring to you guys in 2024, to where you will potentially be able to upload your list. We will be able to monitor those leads, and then they will trigger and serve up Zoodealio's value proposition, all of those types of things on that too. So again, that company's name is Revaluate. Revaluate. If you go to Revaluate, I believe it's revaluate.com, you'll be able to look them up and check them out. So on that, I do want, again, this is a huge data point that I want everybody to just kind of observe real quick. And this is per the National Association of Realtors, which, again, one of the best things that they do is they put out some outstanding research that's always, very, very verified information. So over 52% of the projection of what it is, it will be over 52% of the people that are selling their house are actually going to be in the baby boomers generation. Now, that's obviously super compelling data, because when you're looking at half of what's going on inside of that, it's that generation, that tells me that there's a ton of lateral move as far as price, but probably move down as far as size, or second homes, right? There's a lot of opportunity that they're potentially selling, vacation homes that they were selling, rental properties that are being sold, right? All of that they're just kind of preparing for possible retirement, like full-on retirement. Now, the other thing I really want to point out in this too is 33% of the boomers of these properties in this generation own their house free and clear. Now, this is really cool, guys. I want you to think about why. Because not only that, when you have a higher rate, well, if they're selling a house for $500,000 and they're only looking to buy a $300,000 or $400,000 house, well, we know that cash is king in this particular market that we are in, right? Not only for speed, but finding a better deal. You can always be able to serve and support a little bit better with cash in that particular opportunity. So, and then of course, if you're in a market to where we can turn that buyer's offer to cash, make sure that you connect to that and be able to jam it out there as well. Okay. So this is another piece to me that's just massive, and why you want to make sure that marketing is just super compelling. I want to be very clear in what I'm about to go through, right? When we go through market shifts right now, a lot of times in order to tighten your budget, you'll need to prospect more, right? So that means that maybe you'll focus on your lists, right? Like a cold list, such as a canceled and expireds, or whatever list you maybe get from your title company, or let's just say it's a Land Voice or RedX, right? Whatever source that your list that you're connecting to, you'll maybe pick up the phone on those, and then that's where you'll deploy some of the marketing efforts. But this is something I want everybody to be really looking at, around this, where if there is 1 in 4 homeowners that are looking to actually sell their house in the next 3 years, that's a way higher than normal turnover rate, right? A lot of a national average turnover rate. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're going to, it means that they're going to be looking to do so. Where I find this super compelling, because my actual projection around this is that we were going to go through some compressed turnover rates, because you have people that have such cheap money. So they're going to hang on their house and rent it out because they can cash flow it, right? You'll see probably some seller financing, and for when people have let's just do simple math here, a $500,000 house that they have a 2%, 2.5% rate on when they got it, crazy low times. Well, let's just say that payment is roughly $2,000, right? And that house can rent out for $2,700. Well, that is now income to that particular homeowner. So they're able to, as long as they can take the down payment and move that, or they have the down payment for their new existing property, it makes sense for them to hang on to that. So that's where, again, a huge Google search right now is rent. Should I sell my house or rent my house, right? So rent versus sell is ultimately something that's definitely on the rise, and that's because of exactly what I just shared with you guys. So what I want everybody to take away from this slide and what I'm sharing here is it's so important to be running that launch campaign, and then of course once they're engaging with that launch campaign, adding them to blast so that you can really scale up that message. Now, this maintains to be one of the top, this is the number one Google search, for home sellers right now. Also, this continues to be a really big one, right? Is being able to sell your house fast, right? So when people are going to that actual search engine, the search parameters, pay-per-click type marketing, this is how we actually, this is one of the phrases that people are bidding on, and it's because this is what Google is telling us is the most searched term. So what you would want to do in this, right, is this is where, again, you're wanting to grow that database, then even just based on the pure, amount of numbers that you guys have, you're going to want to be making sure that we're marketing to them, right? So just giving us a simple look at what that looks like. We have all of these people here, right? We know that the consumer is looking for that. And so what we want to do to gain the attention of these particular strangers is you have a couple of different options in doing that, right? You have marketing strategies, which is maybe a mailer list that you don't necessarily have, or you can go and pull that subdivision, you deploy the postcard to them, right? And that's where this QR code, I'm going to run the QR code in that situation, potentially to my Blast sign up page, which is where they can now run a postcard. They can say, hey, would you like to monitor, would you like to track your home's value, get monthly trends and insights on your home, scan here, right? So now when they scan that, it pulls them right to that page, they sign up and they're getting that monthly report. If you already have their contact information, well, that's where the launch campaign is now going to be able to inspire transactions. The goal of this is to get them to be able to connect to your marketing and your unique value proposition, right? And then this is where you'll also find in the social media library where you're going to want to post content where you're putting that camera in your face, followed by other strategies that are unique value propositions that you're bringing. Because now, again, I'm going to reemphasize, with rates dropping, right? There's always a lag, before people, usually a month lag, before people really start doing some things. And now it's the holidays. This is where we typically see the market load, meaning more houses come on the market or they get ready. Then January, the market really starts to load. All the, new listings, people, new year, new me, kind of mentality. So everything starts to hit the market in January, February, then you start to see pendings go up in March. And so this is where I want you guys to really seize this opportunity, especially with next year being an election year. Again, one of my opinions on that is really when you see that, one of the best ways to move the economy is lower interest rates, right? So if we start infusing money back into the bond market, you'll see rates start to drop, and making sure house prices, stay up and everything stays moving, right? And especially all of that's directly, most of the time, related to a lot of the political stuff that's going on. So us as agents have an opportunity to really scale out our message. And the other thing on this, I want to make sure why it's so important for us to be leading with this seller's initiative right now is back to those buyer commission lawsuits. Right? We don't know what that's going to look like in the next 24 months. It could happen sooner, right? All that $5 billion lawsuit that just was rendered down in Missouri. There's, the NAR national lawsuit versus the DOJ is slated to start next year. And so if that happens, the buyer's compensation as we know it could be completely wiped out. So start now, guys. I mean, this is, again, if you look at any top producing agent, it's always been list to live, right? And that's because of when you have a listing, you're controlling your inventory. And when you have access to the inventory, you attract buyers and other sellers, right? So it's just a smarter business play, and I'm giving you guys the inside framework here on what that looks like for your business. So I want to stay on point here for you, going back to this, by marketing to a targeted list, right? So to be very clear, you can deploy unique cash offer postcards to your database. You can also deploy them to a geographical farm. You want to back that up with the launch campaign so that now you're hitting them in multiple capacities. Then from there, we want to be making sure that we're posting content on a weekly basis talking about these unique value propositions, okay? Now, the other thing on this, when we get into this, and those of you that are a little bit more advanced, if you have a retargeting budget and you have your pixel placed on your site, well, now all of a sudden they come back to your site when they see the cash offer. They either request the cash offer or they don't, but now your pixel picks them up, and now your ads are being reserved to them on that. So that's where you're able to prospect in a little bit more of a smarter strategy, and you're creating an omnipresence inside your marketplace, right? So that's the framework that I want you guys to adopt and take advantage of. All right. So now how do we get from, gaining the attention of strangers to now actually turning strangers to clients? Okay. So what I wanted to take you guys through again on this is really what that looks like, right? Being able to give them access to their home's value, the insights, different options that are all connected and available to their particular house. They're able to claim their property, and then you're serving up dynamic content month after month so that they're engaging with that value proposition. Now, the beauty of all of this as well is inside of Zoodealio, once they are, engaging with this 3 times in 1 month or 3 consecutive months, those notifications or alerts are served back to you inside of Zoodealio that they are likely sellers when it comes to that. Right? And then, of course, the whole goal is to make sure that we're consistently keeping that value proposition in front of them. I got one more thing here for you guys on this that I want to share with you. Right? So if you're looking for access to your 2024 seller marketing plan, those of you that are inside of Zoodealio, you have this already inside of the campaigns. But those of you that are not, here's a cash offer and seller campaign that you'll be able to connect to ultimately help you get home sellers to raise their hand. And then, of course, if you're looking for some unique selling solutions and giving sellers optionality that they're looking for that inspires transactions to happen today, make sure you go check out Zoodealio.com. I want to give everybody clarity, the framework that you guys have here. This is an outstanding place to start. Here's why. I want to put this the spotlight on this again. There's so much availability out there, whether it be from list builders of some sort, right? Like, again, just to be for clarity, I'm not obviously you have the ones that I mentioned, Vulcan 7, Land Voice, RedX, right? A lot of those will provide actual lead sources for you. But then there's also a ton of companies out there like Property Radar or PropStream that you can actually put in a geographical area. It'll pull the list for you, and then you can get the address, right? Now, you may need to reverse look them up to see if you can fetch the email address, right? Obviously, I want to caution everybody about spamming, all of those types of things. But that's where, again, when we can drive traffic, we can put the spotlight, we drop a pin on our office, right? That I think I was talking about this last week, so I'll just kind of I know some people are on here that this may find value in this, right, and have the ability to do it. So this is a really cool strategy. So if you understand Facebook and can do basic things on this, so Tammy, this would be one strategy for you based on your comment that I'm going to circle back to here in just a second, that would be super smart, is you can drop a pin right inside of Facebook that runs a 30-mile radius that will actually serve up your ad and to those homeowners, right? So you're going to have an image, right, which is going to be all around the real value, track your home's value, get monthly insights and trends on your home, sign up below, right? So this is an option for you guys now. You have a pin that's going to run a 30-mile radius. And the beauty of this, guys, is I don't want you to be clear of, you don't have to actually deal with any of the fair housing and all the other issues that you typically have within Facebook and, on that, because it's just literally in the 30-mile radius. Now, here's the cool thing on this. So when they're in that 30-mile radius, even if they come in, your pixel picks them up, then they go outside of that. Well, guess what? Your retarget is now picking them up because you have, as long as you have a retarget budget running on and a pixel on that page, you're able to retarget those people and they go outside of that, right? So this is a really cool strategy that I've been touting for quite some time, to where you want to really lead with a very simple barrier to entry of actual homeowners, right? Monitor your home's real value, track the insights and trends on your property, right? And it's a nice, cool, clean landing page. Then from there, you're serving up that monthly follow-up on that, okay? So that's where the marketing and all that comes into play. So now what I want to be clear on in this is what you're doing is you've now captured their name, their email address, their address, all of that, right? So this is huge for you guys to be able to do all of those things, okay? This is, again, that success formula that I was talking about before. I've shared this in past coaching sessions with everybody. This is, again, a tried, tested, improved. This comes from the National Association of Realtors, where they're saying you need 35 contacts to create one appointment. So when we're talking about contacts, right, we're talking about people that you have their proper name, proper email address, proper telephone number, right? So there's a vetting out process to be able to get to that point. And that's where it's really paramount for us to continue to serve up our marketing and be able to deliver the uniqueness of our value propositions to them. So let's walk through what that looks like, right? I don't care if these leads came from IDX. I don't care if it's a list that you adopted from, a past lead source that you have, right? These are all things that when you're starting to curate, I want you to get super on purpose about your data integrity, right? Making sure that your information is getting to them, it's getting to their inbox, it's getting to their phone, and that when you call them, right, you're either getting there to, Susie Sellers voicemail box, right? So it's really important to make sure that our messages are being heard. And if they answer, fantastic. Obviously, that's the objective. Okay. So what I want you guys to look at is 35 contacts to get 4 appointments, and then 4 appointments will equal 1 closing. So what does that look like for you guys, right? And being able to look at what is this funnel? How does this process work for you and your business? And so what I did here is just kind of did a simple mathematical equation based on this formula. If you're looking to do 25 transactions in 2024, right, which would actually be, especially with today's elevated purchase prices, you got an average commission, depending on where you're at, of anywhere from $9,000 to $13,000 in most markets, right? So if that's the case, you end up, having a pretty decent income. But again, the thing I want to challenge everybody on this, if you already did 25 transactions and you want to add on 25 more, or if you did 50 transactions and you want to add on 50 more, well, this is still just a mathematical equation, and it's getting super on purpose about the list, right? And the part I want to be even more transparent, if you are at the 50 transactions and you're more of a dialed up player at that point, well, then this is where you really need to be doubling down on those strategies. You need to be looking at the massive filtering process, right? Like, how do I have my not met database structured? How do I have my met database, right? And how do I have my raving fans, right? So that's the different, kind of cascading process that we want to pull our clientele through. And that's the whole goal, is taking the not mets to the met and creating a raving fan from those people, right? So meaning that when they think of you, they think of real estate, and they're always referring you and mentioning you when they know other people that are looking to transact. And when you have the value proposition at your core, right, of the cash plus, of unique values in the marketplace, that's a compelling conversation starter. But then it always comes back down to you and the relationship that you have with them, right? This is still a network game, right? Your network determines your net worth, right? One of my favorite sayings is making sure that you still get into relationship with these people, but you're constantly serving up a unique value proposition. Okay, so simple math, right? On this 25 transactions that you're looking to achieve, that would mean that you need to go on, 100 appointments. Now let's digest this real quick. In today's times, an appointment can absolutely be a quick coffee. It can be showing a property. It can be a pop by at a house. It can be a Zoom. It can absolutely be, hey, this is a really compelling option. I see that you guys just inherited this house, in a probate situation. Hey, I actually took the liberty to do a little bit of due diligence, and it looks like if we put, about $25,000 of improvement in this property, you may be able to sell it for as much as $100,000 to $125,000 more. How does that sound? Great, but we just don't have the money. Hey, well, if I could introduce you to to a brand new strategy that we work with, to where we'll actually fund the rehab, and then we resell the property, and you get all of that upside proceeds above what the house was actually purchased for. Is that something that would be of interest to you? Well, heck yeah. Cool. I got your remedy, right? So it's being able to just take those types of things, deploy them to the marketplace, scale up that message, get sellers to raise their hand, and have real estate selling conversations, right?